We have a big update on the New Orleans Saints. Derek Carr is officially back, and he was recently asked about quarterback Spencer Rattler's performance while he was gone, and what he said was quite interesting. We're going to break this down and how the New Orleans Saints, in my opinion, can still make the playoffs in 2024. So Derek Carr is finally back at practice, and this guy looked hyped, looked happy and delighted to be back on the football field. He suffered that oblique injury during the Monday Night Football game against the Kansas City Chiefs. What's different about Carr returning from injury this time compared to last year is that he's expected to be pretty much 100% for this upcoming matchup against the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young. However, right now the Saints have lost 6 in a row, have a 2-6 record, and they are expecting Derek Carr to be the savior. This is after tons of fans, New Orleans Saints fans, people who don't like Derek Carr, were pounding the table for the rookie 5th-round pick Spencer Rattler to start before week 1. And now fans have finally gotten the Spencer Rattler experience, and it was a complete disaster. During these past 3 games, Spencer Rattler was even benched in the second half of this recent matchup against the LA Chargers. You saw Jake Haener, former Fresno State quarterback, come in the game after Spencer Rattler just couldn't get a spark going for this offense. And I'm not going to sit here and disrespect Spencer Rattler and say some negative things about that guy just because people hate on Derek Carr. I mean, Spencer Rattler's a young person, a 5th-round pick. I don't know what the Saints were expecting throwing this guy in. I think from the get-go, they should have started Jake Haener in Derek Carr's absence, but maybe the Saints bent to fan pressure. All those Saints fans clamoring for Spencer Rattler because everybody likes a rookie quarterback until you put them in and watch the offense drop off. The Saints have also been dealing with injuries. They lost wide receiver Rashid Shaheed for the entire year, but 3 of these losses have been with Spencer Rattler at quarterback, and I think the Saints would have had a better shot in all of these games if they would have had Derek Carr. The Saints did have a 3-game losing streak under Derek Carr while he was starting at quarterback, but keep in mind, the first L was against the Philadelphia Eagles when Carr made a score towards the end of the game and the defense just needed to get 1 stop, and they allowed Dallas Goedert to go in and get a huge gain on the final drive. And against the Atlanta Falcons, really, if the Falcons did not get 1 PI call at the very end after Derek Carr scored, they got that PI call on offense, and then Younghoe Koo was able to get the game-winning field goal. Carr really had this team in it for those 2 L's against the Falcons, against the Eagles, and against the Kansas City Chiefs. It was ugly. It was the game when they had tons of backup offensive linemen for the first time. Carr threw a boneheaded interception at the top of the game, but nonetheless, the Saints still had an opportunity against the defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs in the 4th quarter. So I think this team's going to be a lot more competitive going forward with Carr. Carr was asked about being the savior for the Saints this year.
Want to be the savior of what has not worked since you've been gone?
I am no savior. There's only been one of those, and and that is not me. I am here to be a great leader and to be a great teammate and to do my job to the best of my ability. Do I feel confident what I can do? Absolutely. I feel confident in what I can do. I feel confident in what I can bring to our team. To save us or anything like that, that's not me. I'm going to come in and do what my guys expect me to do.
And that's the thing, obviously. Derek Carr is going to take a little bit of offense to this question, saying, is he going to be a savior for the New Orleans Saints? Because of his faith, he said right off the top, there's only one savior. Plus, this is a team game. At the end of the day, this is a team game. This is a team that's dealing with a lot of injuries, and he's not going to sit there and boast and say, yeah, I'm about to save the Saints. The reason they've been dropping L's the past 3 weeks is because they had that rookie 5th-round pick Rattler instead of a real-ass veteran franchise QB like myself. He's not going to say that, but you know what? I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it because I think Derek Carr is going to make a huge difference in these upcoming games. And I want to talk about an intense comment he made in this exact same press conference, but take a look at the schedule for the Saints here. I mean, we talked about how competitive they were with Carr before he got injured with that oblique injury, even in their L's to the Falcons and Eagles. But take a look at what they got coming up here. They're playing the Panthers. They're getting a little bit healthier on the offensive line, at the receiver position, on defense. They've been pretty healthy the majority of the year. But then they played the Falcons, a team that I think they could have easily beaten. And I know the Falcons are riding high because they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week. But hey, let me tell you, the Buccaneers are hit with the injury bug hardcore, especially at the wide receiver position. Shout out to Chris Godwin. That sucks that his season is over. But the Saints could totally beat the Falcons at home after beating the Panthers. Then you're playing Jameis Winston and the Browns. I'm sorry. I think Jameis Winston got lucky against the Ravens. The Ravens are a team that lost to the Raiders earlier this year. They tend to drop trap games against weak opponents. Browns aren't going to be successful against the Saints in 3 weeks, in my opinion. LA Rams, that's going to be a tough opponent. Even though they had, even when they had Cooper Kupp, no Puka Nacua, they were still a tough team to play against. And I actually think the Giants are tougher than most people give them credit for, but I could see the Saints beating the Rams, definitely beating the Giants. The only teams I'm really worried about coming up for the Saints is Commanders and Packers. Then you got the Buccaneers, who are hit with the injury bug, and also the Las Vegas Raiders. I think the Saints will win that game. So when you're looking at these upcoming games, these 9 games left for the New Orleans Saints, there's only about 3 teams that I'm really worried about: Rams, Packers, and the Washington Commanders. By the way, Jaden Daniels has been banged up as of late, dealing with a rib cartilage injury. So despite the fact that this team is 2-6 right now, as you can see right there, they can afford to lose one more game. Say they lose to the Washington Commanders. And if they win all those other games, beating the Rams, beating the Packers, this team can still end up with a 10-7 record. I think it's possible. Derek Carr was asked about what he's going to bring now that it's crunch time, now that the Saints really can't lose 2 games. They really can't. If they go 9-8, they miss the playoffs. Here's what Carr had to say.
Well, we got 9 weeks that are promised to us, right? And or 10 weeks, whatever week this is, right? There's just a full commitment just from myself to our guys. When I get back, I'm going to be a psychopath. I'm going to be crazy about the details and everything, because we only get one shot at this. I don't have any promises. I don't have anything except I'll promise great effort. I'll promise, long nights and early mornings, to make sure that we're at our best. And
so Carr promises to be a psychopath on the details because it's crunch time. And I know some NFL fans and people out there made a big stink last year when Derek Carr yelled at Chris Olave for not running the right route, running the wrong route. You saw him yell at him because he felt like he gave up on a route. And everybody pointed this out, saying that Derek Carr was being super unprofessional and too hard on the guy. But I mean, come on, man. This is a competitive sport. And like Carr is mentioning here, it is crunch time. So I expect over these next 9 games to see an animated Carr, and God bless them for it, because the Saints need all the help they can get right now. And I don't know what the hell is going on with Dennis Allen. I don't understand who is making some of these decisions, especially at the quarterback position. I think these past 3 games were managed horribly. Just think about it. Now that we've seen it all play out, now that we've seen Spencer Rattler perform like who people like me expected he'd perform like. And look, no disrespect to him, but he's playing like a 5th round rookie quarterback. Why the hell did Jake Haener not start from the get-go? Check this out. You got a Saints news reporter, Fletcher Mackel, pointing this out, how Carr was QB1 for the majority of the season, and then you had Jake Haener as QB2, and then out of nowhere, when Carr's hurt after the Chiefs game, Jake Haener moves to QB3 and Spencer Rattler's bumped up to QB1 in Carr's absence. Why the hell would you not have QB2 just jump up to QB1? You're expecting Rattler. This is unfair to Rattler. I mean, how many reps is this guy really getting as QB3 during the first, 4 to 5 weeks of the regular season? And now that Carr is back at QB, now that Carr is the starter, Jake Haener is returning to QB number 2, and Rattler's been moved to QB number 3. Did the Saints just realize that they royally effed up by having Spencer Rattler start at all for Derek Carr once he was injured? Or is there some other weird game going on? Did they just play Spencer Rattler due to fan pressure? Did they know that he was obviously not going to be ready or as competitive? Dennis Allen was asked about all this weirdness, and he did his coach speech where he couldn't really commit to a real answer.
When he started?
No, I think, look, we looked at everything. We felt like Rattler, gave us the best chance at the time. And so I think, we'll see where we're at come this weekend, what the expectation is. My expectation is that Derek's going to be ready to go. And so in that case, Jake will be the backup this week. So it's really just, I don't want to get into the specifics of, the reasons why, but we feel like that's the best thing for our team.
Okay, you feel like it's the best thing for your team. You're not going to get into the reasons why. I mean, people got questions. People want to know why the third string quarterback jumped up to QB1 and now he's getting punted back to QB3. It just seems really confusing. It seems like there's some other BS and mind games going on behind the scenes. I don't know what the hell is going on, but I do know that Derek Carr was asked about Spencer Rattler, how he did in his performance, and Carr lets it be known that they knew that there would be some rookie hurdles.
Played in that 3-game stint.
He played great for a rookie. He did a lot of great things. He's gonna, there's so much that it's so unfair sometimes, the pressure we put on rookie quarterbacks, and I'm talking about across the league. Quarterbacks need time. Not everybody's in the same situation as some of these other guys. Some of these other guys walk into situations, and what they're asked to do, yes, they may have success, but what they're asked to do, it's a good thing they got a good team around them. Sometimes guys get a lot of unfair circumstances, and again, no one cares, but it's just facts. And so I thought he played great, for a young guy. Does he have a lot of things to learn? Absolutely. We knew that, as soon as they said he was going to start, we knew, Billy knew that there was things that he just doesn't know yet because he just hasn't experienced them. And so, having your first experience, getting a couple starts in a row under your belt, that's only going to bode well for him, because now he can see himself on film and watch it and learn. And
there you have it. Carr is saying that Spencer Rattler did well for a rookie. I think some people are going to take that out of context and make a big deal about it. But he pointed out something that it seems like Dennis Allen wasn't aware of, which is we knew that there were some things that Spencer Rattler just wouldn't know because he's a rookie quarterback. So it just brings us back to the question, why did they not just try out Jake Haener in the first place? Why did they not pull Spencer Rattler quicker? You saw against the Denver Broncos, as soon as they put Jake Haener in the game, the offense moved and scored. And then you saw in this past game against the Chargers, as soon as they put Haener in, they went and got into field goal range. So big blunder on Dennis Allen's part. I think he's really going to regret that. And when you take a look at the numbers here, this is coming out the EPA Week 8 leaderboard. So this is basically EPA expected points added. Basically, this is taken into account receiver drops, dropped interceptions, luck on interceptable passes, basically trying to see who are the most productive quarterbacks in the NFL. And obviously you have Joe Flacco and Derek Carr high on the list. Now, part of that is because they've had less passing attempts. Therefore, you're going to have higher EPA per passing attempt, right? You still got Jordan Love, who's missed some time, not high up on this list. I think you still, at the end of the day, got to give Derek Carr credit for being this high up despite only missing 3 games. So the Saints are going to hope that they are more productive, and it does not look like this is going to be a team that's going to be sellers at the trade deadline. This is not a team that's set up to rebuild. This is a team that just extended Alvin Kamara on an extra year, basically giving him next year in 2025 fully guaranteed at roughly $12 million, while being also under contract for 2026. However, that not much of that is guaranteed. But this just shows that the Saints are still going all in on this year and next year, despite the 2-6 record. The general manager, Mickey Loomis, was also asked, hey, are you guys going to be sellers at the trade deadline? And he says, I'm not really one that thinks trading away half your roster makes a lot of sense at this point, generally, for what I think are undervalued offers. And I think that's a really good point, because you're seeing people like DeAndre Hopkins get traded to the Chiefs for a 5th round pick. Is it really worth it to get all these day 3 picks by trading away huge assets on your team? I don't think it is, and I think it's smart that the Saints are sticking with their roster, and I really do believe this is a team that could still turn this season around. I just showed you the schedule earlier. I think this team's going to do better under Derek Carr. They're going to break this 6-game losing streak, and this division is still wide open. I know the Atlanta Falcons are only ahead by 3 games, beat the Buccaneers that are injured last week, but really got their ass whipped by the Seattle Seahawks a few weeks ago. I think the Saints can turn this whole entire season around after they beat the Panthers and then beat the Falcons the following week. Come back to this channel and tell me if I'm right or wrong. The Saints are still making the playoffs, baby. My name is Wi-Fi Willie. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.